Hello everyone, welcome to We Love Soaps TV. I'm Roger Newcomb.
I'm Damon Jacobs, and we are here in front of the ABC studios in New York City. And Roger, we're about to have lunch with the Cramer women. I don't know if I'll be able to eat anything, but we're going to have lunch with the Cramer women.
All of them, and there's quite a few of them from all years.
All the decades past, so stay tuned. We have interviews coming up with Robin Strasser, Gina Tognoni, and more. This is awesome.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. It is a little weird, kind of coming back and seeing some old faces and new faces, and everybody is so welcoming. I feel completely loved and just at ease. I really do, and I'm excited to kind of get started.
Great. Do you remember what it was like when you first started in 1995?
Yeah. Let's just say I was shaking in my boots. That was for sure. And now
I never would have been able to tell that.
Yeah, well, I was nervous, and I remember just sort of letting it fly, and I felt just the confidence that I got from Robin and Cassie and Laura Bonarrigo. So yeah, kind of like meeting new faces and knowing some folks here that have been here for a while. It's a really cool mix. But yeah, I get it's more adrenaline now, whereas maybe 10 years ago it was, something more of terrified. It's not so much that anymore.
Now, when Kelly came on, she was definitely like a rule breaker. She looked and thought outside the lines.
Yes.
Yes,
I still see that in the scripts. They haven't changed her. I was curious about that before I even said yes. I said, who is she? And she is still the same spirit, the same light. She doesn't take any crap, which I really kind of like, because that's a fun thing to play. And she sort of keeps fear at a distance. She is very comfortable in her own skin. And that's a fun thing to play because I think it's nice to watch. So we'll see how it moves. Today is my first day. We're shooting a bit out of order, but I have a big bomb that has been dropped on my heart as I arrive into Lambview, and that is sort of my first challenge to deal with, and then it goes beyond there.
Wow. A lot of your early scenes were with Robin Strasser.
Yes.
What was that like to start on daytime and be in these scenes with?
I don't think I knew how lucky I was, really, at first. I just thought, wow, she just is such a hard worker, and I was so impressed by her. And then suddenly a good month into it, I remember thinking, this woman knows what she's doing. She would just make whatever was on the page just jump. Now, she was my first lead actress I ever really was exposed to on television for soap opera, and she really set the bar high, as she continues to do. She does wonderful things with the pages, and it's going to be fun to kind of go back into that mode again with her. We haven't even rehearsed yet together. I can't wait.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's it like for you to come back to a role that had been played by somebody else for a period of time?
Well, I originated the role.
I know.
So I literally remember talking to the head writer and Michael Malone, and sitting there and discussing who this girl was, and I could see how passionate he was about it, and I understood her. I just really got lucky. I understood her, and I brought her for about 6 years, 7 years, brought her up, and then I said goodbye, and now coming back, this is going to be a process between, I guess, me and the writers and the show to see where she's going and who she's going to be. I'm pretty clear that she has some of the same characteristics, where she's strong, she's feisty, she doesn't take any crap, but she has maturity under her, and I think that's going to be a fun thing to watch.
Do you feel like there's a gap, given that there was someone else playing it for a while, that there was...
Yeah, as far as an historical point of view as well, that's where my focus is. What did the audience see last? Who did Kelly, mingle with? Who did she like? Who did she not like? And why? Because I have no idea maybe what the audience remembers or whatever, so I want to try to stay true to what the other Kellys did as far as the relationships. And so I've been asking a lot of questions, and I'm always open for suggestions. If anyone would like to write me at ABC and tell me what you think, I'll read them.
Kelly was tragically responsible for the loss of Blair's child back in 1998,
yes.
I think.
Yes.
And that was
Good
explored
year.
to some extent, but I just wondered, is that something that you think Kelly still carries with her?
Well, I think she has a lot of regret, whether it's that or, being impregnated by her ex-husband's son. Yeah. See, that's a tough one to say. Ex-husband's son. And we named the child Zane. And it's obviously the love of our lives. And we're raising this child. He's actually in boarding school right now, but we are a part of his life. But we live separate lives, my husband and I, Kevin, ex-husband. So a lot of this I had to read up on. And it made sense. I understood it. So now we're going to explore the relationship between Kevin and Kelly, see where that lies, and then see where she lands. It's a lot of history. It's a lot of reading.
Wonderful. Our West Coast correspondent Stephanie interviewed you when you were filming Venice.
Yeah.
A few months.
Yes.
Is that going to be an ongoing project for you as well?
We hope. We'll see what Crystal wants to do with the character of Sammy. I think it's fantastic what she's doing. So I'm really hoping. I know she's got a season 2 envisioned, and actually she might even be started on it now. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I hope she asks me.
Great. What have you learned from Kelly over these years?
From Kelly?
From Kelly.
You just gotta be yourself. You just gotta be yourself, and you can give your fiery side some voice. You don't have to worry what people think, and do it and try to do it even if you're afraid.
Do you feel like Gina incorporates those elements into her life?
Every day. Yeah. Every day. It is similar. I mean, I think there's a reason why they pick certain actors for certain roles, because they've got something there that's really on the surface that can give life to their character, and that's why they want that actress or actor to play the role. And I'm honored because I think there's a lot of great things about Kelly that I could hopefully give her and give her life for the next few years.
Those of us that have been watching the show for years and years speculate or perceive that in the bottom of her heart, Kelly will always love Joey.
Yeah. Yeah, she will always. Joey was just a light in her life. Was a light in her life. And, they haven't recasted Joey yet. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but we have so many incredible men on our show. I'm okay trying a few out. We've got great actors. We've got great actors.
We also loved Guiding Light, and we talked a lot about, we love soaps, about the cancellation of Guiding Light.
Yes.
How has that been for you with the loss of Guiding Light? I mean, it's been such a year.
Yeah. I mean, it really felt like a loss. It did feel, and I loved Dinah. I loved that whole group. We became very close because to be 72 years old and to have to say goodbye to such a huge entity like that, it was emotional. When I left in June, folks kind of tapered off depending on storylines, and the show actually ended sometime in September. We saw the last air date, August, something like that. September
18th.
Right, September 18th. And to say goodbye and to see it physically end, it was hard. We were on a farewell tour, a group of us from Guiding Light. We went to Pittsburgh, we went to Atlanta, we went to Vegas, and to talk to the fans and hear what this show meant to them was something I will never forget, and I will always take that with me.
What did it mean to them?
It brought them through difficult times. It gave their day a break. Gave their life a break. They had an hour of entertainment. They could get lost in our zaniness and the character's zaniness, and that's really the point. We are, yes, we're exaggerating certain circumstances, but we're putting our heart and soul, and we're relating to it. We're putting our hearts behind it, and it makes folks feel pretty good at the end of the hour, that maybe their life isn't so bad,
Well, and I definitely think also in the role of Kelly, you've given the audience, you've given me something as someone, who wanted to see a young person who could, really fight back.
Take, not taking a crap.
Survive some of the worst things that life could throw your way.
Absolutely. And you go through it. Yeah. You feel like you kind of go through those experiences. That's a little trippy, but when you get on these shows for a while, you go, God, at the end of the day, you're exhausted. You're like, why? Well, I, killed my arch enemy, and I jumped off a bridge, and I did a somersault, and I had to do it 3 times. You start to feel like I'm exhausted.
How do you take care of yourself then when you're doing this sort of intense drama day in, day out?
Yeah, you got to eat right, you got to sleep, and take good care of yourself.
Excellent. I wonder why, we were talking earlier, I wonder why daytime doesn't even represent women as strong and powerful as they used to be. Do you have any thoughts about that?
I'm going to ask you about that question again. Do you mean what you just asked me? Because I'll mirror back. I think what you just said to me was, that they used to have stronger women and they don't anymore?
I believe they do not as much as they used
You
to.
believe they used to and it's
No.
degenerated?
Yes, because most women...
Zoinks. That's
on
news to me.
shows-
You're going to get me all upset now.
Dorian is strong. She doesn't necessarily need a man in her life. She doesn't feel...
Yeah, no, I get that part. I'm going back to your other statement. I'm still going to give you another chance to back out of it. Are you sure you mean that women used to be stronger on daytime and now they're less so?
I think women now on daytime seem to crumble more if they don't have a man or a baby in their life. They used to show women more focused on work, more focused on achieving a level of success in their careers, and now they seem to be more about marriage and babies than they used to.
So after I put you on the spot, I'm now going to defer to you in that because I don't watch the other shows, and although I was rooting mightily for shows that got canceled, not to be, like Guiding Light, well, why can't you shoot on location, and blah, 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 and I really wanted to see as many daytime stories survive as possible because there are so many jobs that are affected, probably 800 jobs per show that gets canceled. And it's really important that it's an honor to be here in New York, but it's a little bit daunting that One Life to Live is the last one that will be standing. As of September, will be the only show being done in New York. And that's an awesome responsibility because those 800 jobs are needed because New York has been decimated on many levels by the economy and by the way in which our business has made huge cutbacks. It's evident by the number of shows that have been canceled and are gone.
What do you think is the secret? What do you think then are the ingredients of a successful daytime show in 2010?
I always loved, there was an old timer who used to say, you only need 2 sets to do a good soap opera. You only need 2 sets, a kitchen and a bedroom. I think, but this is my preference, and I don't know anything more than where my heart and soul and my taste runs, which is towards human behavior and characters that you lock into, whether they're good or bad or, haves or have-nots. But I'm all into the storytelling and telling the story of a person who starts here and ends up there. That's, to me, more than sufficient. But I didn't go see Avatar the first week it opened either. It's like, nah, that's just not where I go running, So if daytime continues to lock into the characters and nurture the characters and choose stories that are character driven, I think we're on the right road and we're delivering what the audience likes. Can you pick up the pace? Can you heighten the production elements? One Life to Live is all about that. I think we're the Sundance. We're the independent movies of daytime television. We're the unpredictable. Whoops, what did they just do? And that's
Roger
cool.
and I mentioned to you that we have surveyed 14 different critics and journalists throughout covering soaps for over 40 years, and you have been selected. You are the top 10 of our top 50 best actors list.
I'm so honored because that's quite a field. Yeah, because I said living and dead, and you said ever in daytime.
Ever.
That's huge.
Ever.
That's
What
huge.
do you attribute that to? I can tell you, as someone who admires you, what I think that's about. But I want to know why you think your performances and portrayals have touched so many people throughout so many years.
I am blessed to have been given such an interesting character to play. What I brought to it is a whole lot of stuff that I carry with me as a person. And I come from a background that dates back to, when you had to study method acting, which was all about bringing your trunk of memories and who you are and your history to the character, all of that comes into play. So I've got all of this. Yeah, I was a child who, to escape who I was, I wanted to dress up and pretend I was somebody else. And here I am, many, many years later. Well, speaking of being blessed, it's 44 years since I did my first day on a soap opera that was Another World. And it's still opening night. It's still like the first time for me. I did feel very flattered by a rave review I was given by someone else, not your group, but pretty big. And he said, nobody has more pride or passion. Maybe it was passion or pride. Whatever, those two things, I thought, that's a good thing, to have pride in what you do, whether you're a carpenter or an actor, and to have passion means that's the jet fuel that gets you there, always bringing your A game. Though years and years ago, I said that to a movie director I was auditioning for. He said, he was so bored, like somebody had twisted his arm, made him see this little soap opera actress, and he just exuded. Okay, it was David Lynch. And he was like, so what was it like doing a soap opera? And I gave him that impassioned, pride and passion speech. Yes, every day is opening night. It's, and you do this and you do that, and it always matters because the audience matters, and that's all that counts. And he looked at me and he said, wow, your executive producer must have hated you. Yes. I said, thank you, David Lynch. I guess you're not going to give me this part, are you? No.
Do you feel your success on daytime has been a barrier to you being able to do other projects?
A barrier. When you're really busy doing a daytime show, I've always felt it was inappropriate to even go and audition. When the shows were only a half hour long, and that does show you how long I've been doing this, I did Broadway. But Broadway has changed. You can't be the first replacement in a Broadway show, which is what I did. I'd be the second person to play a role. On these schedules now, our day goes from 7 to 8 to 9, 10 o'clock at night, right? And on Broadway, they have to cast TV stars who they think sell tickets. I personally would love to get another shot at doing a Broadway show, but it would have to be at a time when the show could, afford to not use me as much. As long as they want to use me a lot, I want to be there.
Good. Are we going to see more Dorian this coming year in 2010?
They don't tell us. And I've been doing this long enough that I don't even ask for the promises of, Now, it's a little bit like dating, you know what I mean? Why didn't you call? Are you going to call? Are we going to have a friendship ring now? When they hand you the script, what's in store for you.
If you could go back to the beginning of your career on Another World and give yourself one piece of advice, what might that be?
I'm going to give you what came up instantly, and then I went, oh no, that's not a good answer. But I'm like, and that advice would be, pace yourself.
Okay.
I run on a very high frequency, very high, and it has served me well, but it also can leave you depleted, and sometimes you need the wisdom to know the difference between what is this or that, and you could say pace yourself to somebody who is going to be lucky enough if they could look ahead and you're going to get at least 44 more years out of this, knock wood.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So now, is this a short-term stint, or is
Yes.
this going to be a longer-term role?
It's short term. Right now, I know it's about 6 episodes. I don't think it's any more than that, but you never know.
Would you like it to become more at some point?
I wouldn't mind right now, but we're just kind of going with the flow and see what happens. So.
Now, when Arianna started, she was very nice, very sweet, very good. She had this sweet romance with River.
Catholic schoolgirl outfit. Mm-hmm.
Then what happened?
Then she got beat up for a few years there, and I think there was a little bit of a delayed reaction to her toughening up, considering everything she went through with Dorian and stalkers and breakups and affairs, and I feel like she just kind of woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to start standing up for myself.
Now, can you relate to that in your own life? Are there times you've had to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sort of aggressively non-confrontational.
So what does that mean?
I just really hate confrontation, and not that I will stand up for myself. I will definitely stand up for my loved ones, probably even before I stand up for myself. But if it calls to it, but I'm more. I like to be diplomatic. I like to be peaceful. I definitely don't have that fire that Arianna has, which I think is why I have so much fun playing that. Because I always say I never actually get to be a bitch in my real life, so it's so fun to get to do it for work. But yeah, she.
Do you ever wish you could be more like that?
Yes.
More like Arianna?
Yes, I do. I wish.
What stops you?
I feel bad, or I don't know. I guess it sounds weird. I guess I'm too nice. I don't know what it is, but I definitely have had moments where I wish I could be like Arianna and punch this person, or say something nasty to them because they deserve it and not even hesitate to say it. I just don't. I'm working on it. Maybe I'll get there one day.
Well, do you think maybe there's a balance, or one could have a balance between nice, sweet, everybody dumps on Arianna, and the other extreme, which is mean, bitchy, nobody steps on Arianna? Is there a balance between those two?
I think there is. Oh, absolutely. And I think Arianna, even though she did get very bitchy there for a while, I think she does have a balance. She doesn't speak like that to everyone. You've never seen her speak that way to Layla, or, to her mother during a normal conversation, or, it was definitely with reason. And so I think there was sort of an interesting balance where she was still a good girl. She still knew where she came from. She still had a good heart when it came to her loved ones, but she just wasn't going to be stepped over anymore. And she was going to make sure everybody knew about it.
What would you like to see happen to Arianna in the long term? What would you like to see for her?
Oh.
Would you like to see her with Rex, with somebody else, maybe without a man, or career, or what?
I think I would like to see her finally find true, lasting, deep love. I think she and Rex had that, but it was very short-lived when it finally got to that place, and then it was over, I'd love to see her happy. I'd love to see her get married. I'd love to see her very successful. I think she's the type of character and the type of woman that would be very successful, probably in this fashion business or design business, and just the typical Cramer woman who is strong and hopefully maybe is the first Cramer woman to be a strong woman and have a strong man next to her side. Maybe she breaks the mold a little bit that way, and actually has somewhat of a successful relationship, whilst maintaining her Cramerness.
Arianna learned later in her life that she was a Cramer woman. She wasn't raised with that. Do you think as she has kind of come into her own as a, quote, bitch, and I'm not even sure I would use that word, but do you think she's ever feared that she might be, she has the Cramer genes, that she might ever have to cope with mental illness, or that some of what she's been going through with Rex and the wedding, or I mean, do you think she's ever afraid of that legacy?
I don't think so. They never went there with Arianna, and we never addressed it, and so I don't think that was something. She also was raised in the convent. She does have that part of herself, especially when she first came on the show, that she was so giving and a big heart and very, very loving. So that doesn't go away. And that's why I think she had such a great relationship with Addie, because she is and she always has been very accepting of everyone. So for her, it wasn't, if she saw Addie thinking, oh, that might happen to me, you know, I don't think her mind would even go there. She would just want to get to know that person and be there for them and love them, and that's family, and she wouldn't think of the negativity of maybe I could end up like that. You know, it's just, this is my family member and I love them. Yeah, and I don't think she ever worried about it.
What can we look forward to in 2010 from Melissa?
Nothing specific at the moment. Some hopefully things. I forgot to mention, like, you're the third person that asked me this. I will be on an episode of Gossip Girl in March.
Sweet.
And hopefully doing second season of the web show that I did last year on teen.com. Hopefully.
Can you tell us what about that?
It's called Hot and Bothered, and it's on teen.com.
Okay.
And we did a season last year, and did really, really well, and it was a great success, and it's very funny. It's about first-year students at a fashion school, fashion again, and it's just quirky and fun and silly and funny, and just I had a great time doing it, and I'm hoping that I will get to do second season. We just haven't officially worked everything out yet, so yeah.
Can you tell us the biggest difference between working on a website versus a daytime? Oh, we're gonna have to wrap up in a minute.
Okay.
The biggest difference between web soap and television?
Just it's single camera as opposed to multi-camera, but it moved just as fast as a soap opera does. So in a way, I was kind of grateful for that. And we were allowed to improv a lot, which you don't always get that freedom in soaps. You have to kind of stick to the page. Whereas this job, they were like, do what you want.
Great.
You know, say what you
we
want.
We look forward to seeing you on the show and One Life to Live. So you've been asked to come back. You're
Yes.
the only Cassie who's been coming back.
Yes, as far as I know.
Yes, as far as we know too. So that is an honor.
It is. It's a privilege.
Would you like the show to be using Cassie more? Would it be your preference to be on?
Well, I live in New York City and I work as an actor, so it'd be lovely to be here working. It was great to work on All My Children last year for a few months, and I've gotten to do other mediums, like I've done a couple of off-Broadway shows, and I do commercials and work like that. It would be great to be working. Daytime is a great place to be working.
Now, earlier we were saying that you enjoyed playing the mental issues that Cassie has been struggling with.
Yes.
As an actress for you, what was that like?
Well, it was interesting. It was. I learned a lot about it. You're really testing me here because it's been a while since I played those stories. But I remember them being emotionally and physically exhausting to my body, but they were challenging to me because it was something different, and I had to do research. I had to understand what happens to women when a child could die, or, you know, that's what was interesting to me. And of course, playing the heightened dramatic scenes is great fun. I like to say I'd like to do it, anything on camera, anything on stage, but not in my personal life. My personal life, I like it nice and calm and quiet. No mental illness, thank you very much.
Cassie was also involved in a very popular triangle in the 90s between her husband Andrew and Kevin.
Yes.
What was that like for you to be the preacher's wife who suddenly was finding herself
attracted to another man? I loved it. It was by far one of the best storylines I had. I thought that Cramer and I had worked together for 5 years at that time. We had been married. And what happens in daytime that doesn't happen in other mediums is the history. The history that you create day in and day out with another person. So I loved Cramer. You know, he and I worked so well together. Oh my goodness, some of the best work I ever did was with him. So when I remember the scene vividly when Cassie came and told Andrew that she hadn't slept with Kevin. There was this whole confrontation. Where were you? I just was out. I was just taking a walk. Whereas Cassie had just slept with Kevin for the first time, and it was palpable on set, the energy between us. And then the scene when Cassie and Andrew broke up, the producers were coming out of the control booth and hugging us afterwards. It was silent on the soundstage. It was just heart-wrenching because Bob and I could go places because we had had this history together and this trust. And that's not something I've found easily in other mediums. And I think it just has to do with the time that we get to work together. And it's the same thing like come in the door and there's Kassie DePaiva and Gina Tognoni and Robin Strasser. And hi, here we are again.
How has it been to work with Robin Strasser?
It's great. I love Robin. I just love working with him. You know.
You mentioned that being one of your favorite stories. Do you remember any of your favorite scenes from playing Cassie? Any specifically? Was it the breakup?
That was easily one of my favorites. Oh my goodness, there's so many. You know, on my website I have so many clips now that I get to see over and over again. I've also forgotten so many. I really have. People remember like, I don't remember that one.
Let me ask you this. Now, Cassie's coming back.
Yes.
Kevin's coming back too, and they have quite a history. Will we be able to see any of that history played out with this return to the show?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Would you like them to revisit that part of Cassie's past?
Yes, I would love to, but I don't know the actor who plays Kevin now. So again, the history between Kevin Stapleton and myself when he played Kevin was strong because we had worked together for some time. But I don't know.
Can you tell us if this is going to be a short-term visit, or might this be a longer-term stay for Cassie?
I really don't know. At the moment, I suspect it's a short-term, unless a lot of people write in and ask. I'm not really sure. Yeah.
Well, given your druthers, what would you like to see happen for Cassie?
I'd love to be working. Of course. It's always an embarrassing question to answer. Do you want Cassie to come? No, I don't want the job. No, of course I would love to be working.
What would you like for your character?
Her character? Oh, I'd love to get immersed back into Dorian's life and Blair's life and see if there is a story for Cassie. I don't know who's on the canvas in Landview these days. I don't know the characters. So.
Well, you have been missed,
Thank
and I'm
you.
glad to see that you're going to be coming back, even just for the short term.
Thank you.
I enjoy your character, and again, I'm really interested in seeing where she's at. This is the way I watch. I'm really interested in where she's at mentally after going through two pretty devastating breakdowns in the 90s.
Right.
How's she doing?
Right, exactly.
Wow, that was amazing.
That was so amazing, Roger. I still haven't eaten a bite, but I'm fulfilled with these interviews.
I couldn't eat either, but talking to Robin Strasser, Gina Tognoni, all these people, just incredible. I'm excited about the Cramer women all being on One Life to Live at the same time.
Starting February 12th on ABC.
Right, and so that's our show. We'll see you next time.